are my friends. Come along with me, see how the story ends.
This episode is brought to you by North Spore. Ever wondered what secrets lie beneath the forest floor? What if I told you there's a hidden kingdom waiting to be explored right in your own home? North Spore is your getaway to this magical world. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned mycologist, North Spore has everything you need to cultivate culinary delights, medicinal powerhouses, and even a little mind-expanding magic. Unlock the power of fungi with their top-notch spawn, easy-to-use kits, and a treasure trove of knowledge. If you're ready to embark on your mushroom journey, visit northspore.com and discover a community of passionate growers, expert resources, and endless possibilities. It's time to tap into the ancient wisdom of fungi and transform your world. Be sure to use code PROFESSIONALHIPPIES for a very special discount to fuel your fungal exploration. North Spore, where wonder grows. This episode is brought to you by testkitplus.com. We all know how important it is to prioritize your health and well-being, especially when it comes to recreational activities. That's why we want to tell you about our buddies over there. They can be your go-to resource for high-quality, easy-to-use recreational test kits. Whether you're planning a weekend getaway, attending a music festival, or just having a good time with your friends, it's really important to make sure you know what you're putting into your body. So head on over to testkitplus.com/professional hippies. That way you can be sure you're safe and you have the peace of mind of what you're putting in your body. They have test kits designed to detect a wide range of substances, providing accurate and reliable results in the comfort of your own home. Knowledge is power, so don't leave anything to chance. Again, that's testkitplus.com/professional hippies. All I want for Christmas is you. Crank that, Soldier Boy.
Happy New Year.
Welcome to another year, new me, new you. Same
New
old,
hippies.
same old? We're not same old, same old. We're coming to this year, we're saying this year, this is our year, baby.
This is our year.
We were born for a time, and that time has come.
This is an even number year. It's our year.
2 equals 4. You and me. Right here, right now. Let's get it. This is our year. Hey, we're the Professional Hippies. Welcome to our show. Woo! I'm Colton. This is Dylan. And this year, we want to introduce you to some topics that are a little abrasive to your ears. So if you're young, you probably shouldn't listen to us. Or maybe you should. Maybe we're the role models you need. This episode is brought to you by the ad you already listened to. So how about that?
Look how good. We're moving up, guys.
We're moving up.
You like that?
Yeah.
Get on it past those.
Yeah, man. Sincerely, though, if you listened to the last episode, thank you for all the love. We have been, believe it or not, working diligently to improve the show for your listening experience.
Surprisingly.
So, if you want to be a part of our community this year, we'll ask you now. We won't beg, but we will ask. Subscribe, and we'll show up more. That's how those things work.
Just rush up against that subscribe button. Maybe a little toot. Just toot up against it, you know?
Toot. Hey, before we get too far into the episode, let's go ahead and get it out of the way. Give me your best, worst, most surprised. How'd the holidays go for you there, Dylan? What was your...
The what?
The best, worst, and most surprised holidays.
Holiday. Mine was good. I was just sick the whole time. So I was like, I had to make that trip to Orlando. Felt awful. Had to, bar it out the whole day. I definitely had the flu or something, and I've been getting over it. And
it
was
probably
just
COVID,
like,
actually.
Right smack. I tested for it. It was not COVID. It was just a good old fashioned flu that everyone forgot about.
We had 2 separate people from where we visited tested positive for the flu and COVID.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
It's a good round robin then for you guys.
We didn't. We were fine.
Oh, other people did it. Oh, yeah.
I mean, apparently cupcakes is what the immune system needs to thrive. Not survive, but just move through like it's not.
No unexpected twists this year, though. Pretty calm, which I am happy about after all the twists this past year. Last year, I mean. I'm pretty happy with a good, calm, collected holiday. Nothing crazy about it.
Yeah. So you were just laid up the whole time, huh? Sounds like.
Pretty much, yeah. Which
Nice.
I have enjoyed every bit of it. No complaints from me on that one. It has been nice. Just got a nice variety pack of beer, and use the alcohol to chase the flu away.
Yeah, you gotta love that. We put on some miles on the old Cherokee and visited some family. Yeah, everything went great.
She
Got to
ran
meet.
good.
She ran good. Got to meet
How about
Abby's
the RV?
father.
Good.
I don't know. Didn't get to see her. On the way back, we did run into an actual mini Winnie, which was pretty sick on the interstate. It said mini Winnie on the back, and I'm like, but it truly was Minnie, and it was Winnie. There's nothing mini about the one I own. So
Biggie Wiggy.
Oh, and on the way home, this was the other cool part. The bomb squad shut down I-10. So coming back from Florida to Texas, Google was like, no shot. I mean, that was one of the most seamless experiences I've had because it happened so far before we got there. Like I saw it way ahead of time, and Google like wouldn't even offer it as a suggestion. They were like, no, it's actually closed. So by the time I bypassed it, I don't know how long the line was when we tried to get into Bonnaroo that year when the bomb squad shut down that entrance.
That was like 4 or 5 hours.
If I remember correctly,
that was awful.
It was about 15, because I don't want to exaggerate. It was definitely somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes of 75 to about 75 miles an hour. So you can definitely figure out how many miles that would be if you broke it down. But so let's say it was like 14 miles to Bonnaroo.
Yeah.
This was about 9 miles of backed up traffic of just people trying to get home from the holidays, man.
Just sounded like I-4 on a Tuesday, honestly. Was that Disney traffic?
I felt bad for all those suckers as I munched down on some gingerbread heads.
Like, all you trying to get home.
I was like, this is what you get for leaving early, You should have just stayed in bed.
Y'all should stay in bed, not cause any problems. No, y'all got to be responsible. Yeah. That's what happens.
Supposedly, COVID is making its rounds, though, again. And
everything is making its rounds.
I saw a Pfizer commercial the other day for pneumonia. How does that work? You mentioned we have a doctor coming on soon?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we do, actually.
Is it that kind of doctor that can tell me, like, how pneumonia works?
He probably could. Sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah, because I'm like, I've never heard of that a day in my life. I thought pneumonia was
pneumonia?
Like... No, as in, like, contracting it virally. Like, do you just have...
contract pneumonia virally.
So then why would you get a...
You can
This is the portion of the episode we need, like, a warning disclaimer. 2 idiots trying to work their way through life.
Listen to the guy with the gold chain, all right? So the guy is basically what in my opinion, is you get the flu, right? And you're starting to build up stuff in your lungs. That's why you're always hacking up shit. And you start getting mucus and water in your lungs. And if you get enough in there, you can't hack it up quick enough. You're going to get pneumonia in there. Like you're going to cause an ecosystem in your lungs, and they call it pneumonia. Pneumonia.
Imagine naming an ecosystem like a community development area. Pneumonia.
They're like, sir, you have a cavity in there.
Where are you from? Pneumonia, Florida.
Pneumonia, Florida. Well, at least you ain't from Epilepsy, Georgia. I'll tell you that.
So that was the part I was so surprised by. I was like, pneumonia, flu shot, like that kind of stick. They're like, yeah, okay, cool. I mean, get jabbed.
Yeah, some antibiotics you can get. I mean, a lot of older people pass away from it, but
yeah, for sure,
younger people can pass it pretty easily.
That's what killed my uncle. But
got my grandma.
In the doctor's defense, he was like, I've never seen such an advanced case of pneumonia. Honestly, it's surprising he lived this long. Like the fact he decided to come in when he did. I mean, he was in the hospital, I think, like 7 or 8 hours, and he died. They were like, it is
it moved quick.
Yeah, they were like, no, I mean, this is 100% his fault. Like,
It's just don't blame
He
you guys.
thought nothing was wrong, but it's also the same guy. I mean, this uncle, he cut gangrene out of his own calf. He was like, I don't need to go to the hospital. Took out a pocket knife and cut the
Dang.
gangrene out of his calf. He also had a steel plate at a construction site drop on him and crush a ton of bones in his body. And they were like, we don't know.
That ain't good for nobody.
Yeah, I don't know how many lives he went through.
Back in the old West, it was like you got tuberculosis or pneumonia, and you're like, nah, sorry, Jerry.
Oh, yeah, right?
You know?
You're not forging that river, that's for sure.
You ain't forging the river this week, Jerry. Sorry.
Yeah, you got bit on your ass by a rattlesnake. Pneumonia.
And you also got bit by a rattlesnake. So
if you get bit by a rattlesnake, is there any validity to sucking the poison out, like splitting it open, sucking the site, spitting the blood?
Yeah, I mean, you just get it out as quick as possible because I mean, if you get bit by a rattlesnake, you better put a turban on real quick before it spreads to the other parts of your body, and just work on getting immediately to.
What does a turban solve?
It just
then you're just trying to really try to be a different culture altogether.
Cut off as much blood circulation as possible because what it's doing is it's clotting.
I don't know that switching ethnicities helps.
What are you talking about?
A turban?
Oh, yeah, you put on a turban or whatever you call it. I don't know.
Tourniquet.
There you go.
Term we're looking for.
Well, let me figure that out.
You just have like a Latin music playing?
You got a turban. If you do have a turban, you probably could take that sucker
off.
Oh,
is that the
Use it as
like,
a tourniquet.
Oh, shit. My bad, dude. I didn't know you were down like that.
Oh, you put a tourniquet on, stop that blood flow as quick as possible. Which you probably could use your turban or put a tourniquet on.
You start having the like little ethnic shake, little head bobble, and the snake's like, "Fuck, dude, my bad, man.
Damn it, I can't. I thought I got this one.
Let me get in there. I'll suck it out for."
Those guys are probably I mean, those guys are surrounded by snakes. They're probably immune to a lot of them.
Yeah, well, in order to do that, you got to introduce venom, very small doses, infrequently.
Well, have you ever seen the videos where the little kids in India are just like playing with a?
I hate to break it to you, but I think a lot of those kids die.
I would assume so.
Yeah. I go down rabbit holes all the time on Facebook with those like weird videos that are not in English, and I don't know what I'm watching for a minute. It's just some dude in India fixing a tire, or some kid in China.
It makes me wonder what videos from our side are getting over there. You know, we're getting some crazy videos from India. Like, what crazy
China
videos
like block our internet? We're not.
I'm sure they're like, they probably block most of it, but they're like, oh, this idiot, we'll let that one through.
For sure.
This guy looks like an idiot. Yeah, they're like all professional hippies.
I want to see the TikTok in China because their TikTok is like educational.
I think they have a limit on an age kids can have it too, which I'm sure they work around that, but I think they cap it out.
Oh yeah, it's like at 9 o'clock.
I know, we
know.
You can't. They're like, we know what this is,
dude. Cancer to society for sure.
For sure, and they're like,
the algorithm's great. I mean, if you just want to check out a life for a few hours. Does it ever feel like a win to you when you come out of a rabbit hole and you got the dopamine you were after? Sometimes that happens. Sometimes I'm like, that was a valuable use of my time.
But like 2 a.m., no, anything 2 a.m., I'm really just searching for the awful videos, like the ones I shouldn't be watching. Those are the ones that start popping up around midnight. Yeah. And Instagram's like, here, you dirty little bitch. Like,
I know what you're looking for.
I know what you're like. We'll give it to you before we delete it.
You want to see the white guy that was a little too drunk and started to pick a fight with too many bros.
Want to see start leaning over to the other lane a little too much? All right. There you go.
I'm getting a lot of car accidents served to me lately. I don't know what that's about, but
I love watching some of those.
It makes me want to get a dash cam. I'm like,
whenever I get the we're hiding this reel. Click here if you want to see this reel. Like, please.
That's and you're like, oh, right now
this is gonna be somewhere. A go on. Like when I look at it, it's almost like when you're at the movies and you're waiting for the trailers keep running, and the movie finally starts. That's like the trailer to me. It's like, ooh,
I didn't know why like some of the videos that you see, because you look at it and you're like, oh, this has 400,000 likes. I mean, this has made its rounds. And I'm like, I don't know how I am able to see this. And some of my videos about like, here's what you do if you're having a bad trip, and that's getting flagged. People are like, no, we don't want that information to get out. But you see someone with one arm beating another person with their decapitated arm.
They're getting us ready, man. Hey, they got to start making us visually prepare us, for what's to come in 2025. What that is, I don't know.
I think there's some kind of war coming.
It ain't 2024 because 2024 is going to be a good year.
2024, we're looking for a good year.
You know what? Speaking of holidays, how long do you think before we finally have like a national day where everyone has to take an eighth of mushrooms? Like it's a requirement.
Like has to? Yeah, I'm going to say never.
Probably never, you don't think? Or like a day, like if you want to take mushrooms, this would be the day to do it? Because
I think what is much more likely is that we will have a bicycle day be more of like 420.
Yeah.
Right? So like when 420 rolls around, for sure the stoners are doing stoner things. And I think when bicycle day comes around, let's say in 4 or 5 years, you're gonna be like, okay,
tricycle day. Maybe we'll get tricycle day with Henry.
I'm down. I'll give the man props. I mean, he's not there yet. I think Albert Hoffman.
He's building.
He's building.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, sure.
I'm just thinking if Hoffman had like an email list, he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm kind of shitting on everybody right now."
Even in my grave.
Imagine getting like newsletters from Hoffman. You guys would never believe what I tried this week.
I got
no amount of milk could slow it down.
I got this new chemical compound I've been trying out. You should try it.
There's a kid in my high school that totaled his car because he was doing is it duster? What you clean the computer keyboard with? So he was huffing duster while driving. Because you're in high school, you hear about kids trying stuff all the time, and you're like, oh, that's definitely rotting your brain, but like, whatever, Everybody's trying different stuff. No one had remorse for this dude because we all were like, you deserve. I mean, he came to school. I mean, he must have broke his pelvis, I think both arms, collarbone.
And a horrible car.
Oh my God. Blacked out and just slammed the car into a ditch.
Dang.
It's bad though when you do it to yourself. And then no one feels bad for you. Like no one's holding the doors open for this dude. It's like, no, we want to watch you have to figure out what you did to yourself. Like, yeah, that's.
You know how you're growing up and your parents, you do something and your parents kind of let you do it. And they're like, see, you learn from that, right? Lesson learned. Instead, that was like the whole school's like, see, lesson learned. You gotta do better.
Yeah.
I don't understand why that's such a big thing, especially all the chemicals they put into it to try to suppress people from trying to do it. I tried a long time ago. I was like, what the fuck is this shit about? And that was the most god-awful fucking shit
Terrible.
I ever did. For like hours, I was like, oh, that shit's nasty as hell.
I just had the
How are people
worst
doing that?
ringing headache.
I was like,
the rest of the day.
Oh, I did not I try once, one spray, and I was like, forever, that's not me. That's not my
where
thing.
they really go wrong is like trying to portray certain drugs as not fun, not cool. I think the reality is you got to speak about it plainly. Heroin, I would imagine, has got to be a pretty great experience. Hence, why so many people ruin their lives over it. I just don't think it's right. I mean, I don't know. That's my logic.
That's why people do it, because it's a great time while they're on it. It makes you forget about everything else going on in the world.
Because it's an opiate. The meth is a tough one for me to understand, because like a little bit of speed, you have a cup of caffeine, you're like, cool, you can
get some stuff done.
Getting some stuff done. I'm gonna clean my office or whatever. Adderall. Wow, all of a sudden I can pass an exam because I stayed up all night studying, doing it. It seems to ratchet up pretty exponentially from there, though. Once you get to just good old street meth. I mean, what do you tearing down your whole car to learn how it works? Like, is that and then you can't put it back
Like,
together.
what do you got to do? What do you have for 3 days? You got to do. Like, you're gonna like I understand Adderall. You're like, I gotta study for this test tonight. All right, tomorrow we get that done. Or
Yeah, I got that
like,
big
dang,
presentation.
I gotta paint my house. You know, this should take a day.
I mean,
But if you're
but are we
like-
just like ignorant to it, or like are there business professionals out there that are like, I gotta crank out my?
There's an old YouTube video or old video of like this NASA engineer. They interviewed him and they're like, "Are you gonna go home and do crack?" He's like, "Oh yeah, as soon as I leave work here, I'm gonna go home and do some crack." And he goes, "I love it. Keeps me up. I know what I'm doing." He goes, "Sure, there's some people that lose their shit, but I know what I'm doing."
He died like a year later, though.
Did he?
Yeah. I was hoping you knew that.
I didn't know that.
Once I saw where that was going. Yeah, he did. He that's at the end of the clip, by the way. So the same video. You must have just checked out right before
I was
the end.
like, oh, this is all good.
That was like a 30 for 30 interview or something, if that's the right, or 2020. I think 30 for 30 is ESPN. It was a Dateline 2020 or whatever. Yeah.
20 for 19, yeah.
20 for 19. So yeah, I'm definitely like immediately as soon as I leave here, I'm gonna go buy some crack. Also, I can't imagine that interview would bode well for the employers at NASA watching him and going.
Or all the employers are like that at NASA. They were just, I mean, that's why they got to the moon and that quickly. They were like, ah, shit. The president gave us a goal. We got to do this. That's when you need it. When they're like, this isn't a study overnight. This isn't a paint your house quick. We got to get people to the damn moon.
Checks out when you think about it, right?
That's more than a 3-day thing. You really got to kick it in high gear. That's when you need it. Sending people, NASA's, they probably got an endless pure supply of that shit.
You know, there used to be a different version of Pizzagate. There was an economist that, I don't remember the full details, but never let the truth get in the way of a good story, right? So this economist was, somehow he linked pizza buying from the White House to economic measures.
I know what you're talking about.
You've heard of that at least, right? And so when he knew when there was a ton of pizza orders that came in from the local pizza places around, there was something intense that was about to go down. And so he would buy puts or calls or whatever and kind of manipulate the market a little bit with that.
Smart read.
It's a good read, man. I mean, I don't know where you're finding pizza guys to tap into or even thinking what to do about that, but hey, rock out.
Trump was probably McDonald's because he loves McDonald's so much. You go to your local McDonald's.
I thought he was a KFC guy.
Big
McDonald's.
He's KFC and McDonald's. Yeah.
That's wild. What do you think they're pumping Biden full of? Keep that dude going.
Oh, that's that. They are like, oh, you know what? We should experiment with everything here. Let's try this out. Let's keep it. I mean, because they have enough to keep them alive. They need to keep them awake and talkative.
Yeah.
Right. So
and not crush his heart. Like if that thing explodes.
That's another example. He needs the meth. He's probably got him on crack and meth, figuring it out. Because he's probably so out of it, it doesn't affect him as crazy as much. So it gives him a good middle ground.
Yeah, I was prompted a question. Oh, I was at my ultimate frisbee. We were just throwing some disc around, having a good time, right? And for better or worse, a bunch of really wholesome people play that game. It's honestly, it's really rejuvenating for me because I'm like, you guys are so pure. And one day, somebody said something about cocaine. They said when they were on their deathbed, that's when they'll probably try cocaine. And I was like, no, that's a terrible idea. And they're like, why? I was like, what do you want to wait till retirement to have good sex too? Like that doesn't make any sense. And he was like, well, I don't want to ruin my life right now. I was like, first off, cocaine, it could ruin your life. But if you were just to try it, if you're on your deathbed, that will kill you for sure. Like,
yeah, your heart's exploding.
You're checking out, dude. Like, go in a different direction.
Self-suicide, if that's what you want to do, sure, go for it.
He's like, well, when should I try it? And I was like, now. And I guess the way I said it, he was like, I feel like you're kind of sincere there. I'm like, why would you wait until you're about to die to try it. If that's something you're genuinely curious about, your heart will explode if you're like 70 and 80 ripping lines down on your deathbed. For sure, you're going to kill yourself. And right now, yeah, you got a good ticker.
You got to do it while you're healthy.
Yeah.
You don't. You're not an Olympic when you're 70. You're in the Olympics when you're young. Do it while you're young, you know, while you can handle it.
Moral story there is don't do drugs. What if you do? You know, go check out testkitplus.com/professional hippies.
I feel like we're gaining a lot of new hippies these days. Like, and people that never thought they would be considered a hippie, but we're just kind of putting them in that pool of people just going, oh, I want to try this out. Oh, mushrooms are getting a little bit better. And it's just professionals that are trying things out and then going, oh, that's not bad at all. It's just a wild, googly old time.
Well, we are like now kind of at the precipice of, even a decade ago, I remember being like, when are the old heads going to age out of legislation? And it feels like those are our elected representatives making bills and legislation.
I always wondered that too.
Right.
Yeah.
And
like, when does
feels
it
like we're
start
kind of getting into that, where it's like you saw Biden do the federal pardon for cannabis users and whatnot.
And tons of people seeing, obviously, you can't trust the government or anything that they're telling you isn't going to be what it is. And I feel like a lot more people that were trusting the government before are starting to not, especially over the past several years. And then it comes to the realization of like, oh, are all these things that they were telling us about these certain, you know, mushrooms, weed,
fucking
LSD,
food.
whatever, is it really actually that bad?
Right.
You know, they're starting to question that and come out and try it now.
Yeah. I mean,
we're starting to have conferences all over the
tough
place.
run for the government lately. Building trust.
Tough
a go at it. Really fucking the pooch on that one. Like, I think you were given a couple layups, and the trust is really built around honesty and the government being like, hey, don't worry, we can kick the can. Everything's going to be fine.
We're going to take good care of you.
How much inflation did we have last year? Like 14% of like hard baked in inflation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the exact number. I mean, it was definitely double digits.
Enough to feel like it's really gaping you, you know?
So like many words you could have said.
That's why I'm using it. It's like, it's a noticeable feeling, you know? You're like, this isn't just like, you know, money wise hurting. This is hurting in a lot of other ways.
Yeah. Well, I definitely felt that at Christmas time, because you have to start figuring out like, who is the favorite niece? I mean, because some gifts you want to give out of gesture, right? You're like, okay, you're in the family, but it like becomes this weird blurred line of who do I give a gift for, who do I not.
We do secret Santa though, because we were having that problem too, and we negated all of that. We just do the secret Santa, and then like my mom and brother and Chrissy and I get gifts for each other, you know?
That's nice. My sister advocated for it, and still, because I feel like if you get one really good gift at Christmas for someone that like clearly got you something you would use, you can't consume. I mean, maybe like a good bottle of wine, I don't know, but it's like something that I would use, stoked on. That's what makes a great gift. And if I get one of those, I'm like, yeah, Christmas was great. Getting more shit from TJ Maxx that I would typically walk past, not the best.
I love though, my mom was like, what do you want? And I was like, these shirts and this pair of shoes. Cool. And I opened it up, and that's what I got. And I was like, this is exactly what I wanted. Which it was. It was great.
I used to have this shirt. I really don't know what happened to the shirt. I think I re-gifted it several years later in a white elephant. It was a extra large red t-shirt with a goldfish in a bowl on the front. That's it.
That sounds awesome.
I remember opening it. I was like, oh, same year, different box, an Alabama hoodie. the whole family was looking at me like, are you opening someone else's gifts? I mean, this is like, I'm a solid medium at the time, you know?
Mhm.
So I think the Alabama hoodie was also like a large.
You're just getting somebody else's gifts.
Everyone's like, Mom, he's your son. He's a Gator fan. Like,
You wrapped them.
yeah. Fun gifts, funny gifts.
Are you
But
good
the-
at wrapping, or do you just throw it in a bag?
I don't know if you saw my face when I was trying to hold back. I was ripped the day before Christmas trying to wrap my niece's. I don't remember what the present was. Some toy that she wanted or whatever. And my sister just watched me struggle. I think that was a great spectacle for her. I had one too many cookies, and I was just like, "Oh, dude, how do you do this?" And it started to turn into that weird peppermint kind of wrapping where you give up and you just start turning the ends.
Twist it. Yeah. Or you just start folding enough to where it looks like it's supposed to be right, and then you tape it on.
You're like, it's fine if I just fold it over again. Like, that's what Mom taught me, right? Just fold, tape, and then it ends up looking like this weird wet book kind of shape where some stuff's coming up and some of it's matted together.
Or
and
you cut it all, the excess off to make it look like you want it to.
It's uneven. It's just one edge, just slightly longer.
And they're like, and of course they're always like, you wrapped this, didn't you, Dylan? I'm like, shut up. I thought I did good.
Yeah, it's like, no, I found an autistic kid on the side of the street and offered him $10 to see what his best
There was
effort.
a church I was trying to help, you know.
Oh, that's one thing. This is one thing that I asked for next year, because it's hard to shop for adults, because if you want something, you just typically get it, right?
Of course.
For next year, what I told my family is I would like to become an official minister of the Flying Spaghetti Monster Church. Before, I didn't know this was an option. But as I was spreading the good message of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, that's why I sent you that picture. It was very relevant.
Oh, that's what I posted. Did you see I reposted it?
Yeah. We started to get onto a nice topic at Christmas lunch about religion. And so I was like, well, I gave the family prayer and I prayed to the Flying Spaghetti Monster. It didn't go over the best. And I thought that was just because no one knew what it was. So I just went into like a 10-minute rant of how great the Flying Spaghetti Monster is.
Like, it just bold seriousness, I hope.
Could not have been more serious.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I was sitting on the couch and I was like, yeah, I wonder what it looks like. So you can get this whole pack, right? They send you like a card with your name on it, and it's got like the legal speak on the back that you can look over social proceedings, marriages, and exorcisms. So they send you that. They send you a certificate of when the Flying Spaghetti Monster
exorcisms.
Right?
You gotta pull that meatball out of them.
You know, get that expired sauce out of you, son.
It ain't the oregano, I'll tell you that.
What is that? Rosemary in you? Get it out. Basil. Power.
Gotta replace the red with white sauce real quick.
Yeah. So for $60, you can become an official minister of the Flying Spaghetti Monster.
Wait, if we're doing, because you're already married, but I know you wanted to redo the ceremony at Burning Man. Should I get ordained?
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
I need to get ordained so I could do that.
Dude,
at
last
Burning
year,
Man.
we approached the church camp because I wanted the Flying Spaghetti Monster book to be the Bible that Michael read out of.
You weren't able to make it happen because of all the bullshit where it's happening.
Yeah.
But if I get ordained, we can make a book.
If you think I don't want a colander on my renewed vows photos, you've got me messed up, man.
That is so Dewey.
And you get 2 decals. They send you 2 vinyl decals for your vehicle.
I'm gonna look up outfits for like typical wedding day spaghetti get monster marriages.
The whole way to Florida, by the way, we were looking up costumes so we can all like have.
I feel like her would be like
together.
a bunch of strings, like the spaghetti, like a dress, and you were just one big old meatball.
Well, I'd want 2 meatballs, you know.
Yeah.
Weird if you just have 1 meatball.
You're just one big old meatball. You're just a big round meatball.
We did. All right, so I'll spill the beans on this one. We did.
I'll wear a fork outfit.
And then people are just going to think we're a big plate of spaghetti, but we're going to really hit the old switcheroo on them and be like, you heard the good news.
You heard the good news. We're going to pass around the plate of skettiness if you can give your donations.
Who out in heaven, that kingdom come,
red sauce
to be done. And his sauce we pray al dente.
That's how we cap off the wedding. That caps it.
Well, so I don't want to transition out of this, but I think it's important for you to know how many hours of our drive, which there was 36 hours of total drive time, right? We were talking about what we were going to put you in. And it never came up like, let's be a big plate of spaghetti or anything. But one of the things we were like, Dylan would be down to trust us to tell him, hey, just pack one less set of clothes and we'll have a costume. We'll get it for you.
It's your wedding. So I could, I'm doing whatever you need it to be.
Because I did end up where it ended before I moved into something else, and a different rabbit hole was fat men and mermaid costumes. and I was going to be the crab from Little Mermaid. And Abby was going to be like the seagull or something.
And I'm just in a mermaid tail. What would be great is
I could the seashell titties.
I have the seashells over the titties, but then like I could walk, like my legs still come through the tails, but then when I sit down, I just pull the legs in, like I just sit sideways like that.
I ultimately became uncomfortable with the vision, if I'm being honest. I was like,
most people probably just did. They probably people clicked off on that one. They were like, that was a good episode. Happy New Year.
Got what I'm after. Okay. And back to Joe Rogan.
That's too much dopamine.
Yeah, so we were going through a couple different iterations of what we could all dress up as collectively. I think, the flying spaghetti monster would be great.
Be as a flamingo.
Oh, and the other part of that was next year we would like to cook spaghetti and hang it on the tree. So instead of tassels, we have little strings of angel hair.
Or you know how at Catholic ceremonies they hand out, the cracker and the thing? You have little cups of spaghetti in the sauce. If everyone could come up and please perform the ceremony.
The spaghetti sauce would replace the red wine for sure. I think
for sure. The red
sauce. Instead of those shitty little wafers that they pretend are the body of Christ, which
you just get the lasagna.
First off, you're already getting tax-free money, and you want me to eat something that is as close to edible cardboard as you can fucking get. We can't do some nice garlic croutons. I mean, how much do a fucking bag of croutons cost?
Wheat thins are not that expensive.
Who are we fucking kidding?
All it is you blessing it. Just bless some wheat thins for us. Rosemary,
some fucking 7 grain, something.
Some smoked Gouda wheat thins. Oh my god!
Why aren't they getting a little creative there?
What, you want to try to attract some new people?
Do we really think the body of Christ either, okay, A, tasted that bad, or let's dress it up a little bit?
Definitely tasted a little buttery. Yeah, there's no way it was that stale.
If I'm going to
He's
say
that
I'm
stale.
eating the Lord, I'm going to assume the Lord tastes pretty good.
That's what I'm thinking. You know,
know.
it's got to be
Crazy
He's got to be
idea.
better tasting than any other food on earth. Why not at least try?
And I think bread is the best tasting food on earth.
Bread is amazing.
I mean,
Maybe a Cheez-It. Why not just make it Cheez-Its? Everyone get a little Cheez-It. You know?
Oh, yeah, but I mean, not everyone loves Cheez-It.
And those are the people I don't hang out with.
Fair enough. Have you ever met someone who didn't like bread? That just said, no, don't like it.
I met people that lie. So they like don't eat it, you know? But everyone, it's in our nature to like bread. There's no way you don't like bread. It's literally a survival
Why do you think
food.
that is? Why? What is it about bread? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, a really, really well done bread doesn't have a ton of ingredients.
Yeah, it's delicious. Like the bread that's Ezekiel bread. Ezekiel bread's pretty good. Doesn't have a ton of ingredients.
You're kind of kidding yourself. Ezekiel bread, good for you, doesn't hold a fucking flame to sourdough. Like a nice, fresh sourdough.
Yeah, nice from the bakery is pretty good. Yeah, there's one in Tarpon Springs that makes good fresh sourdough right out of the oven for you.
Yeah.
It's
Apparently,
great.
the guy behind creating the Xbox is also the same guy that brought back a like extinct version of sourdough or something like that.
This is how we got beer. Bread. We have beer because of bread.
Yeah.
For letting it sit too long, and then someone was like, "Oh, I wonder what this is. Oh, that tastes awful, but I feel pretty good after that." And then that's how we got beer.
Yeah, I do wonder how they like stumbled into certain things like chocolate, for instance. The chocolate you eat is so far removed from the bitter shit that the Aztecs or Mayans were choking down.
Well, even chocolate in Europe is completely different than it is over here.
For some things, I'm really grateful that capitalism got a hold of our taste buds and was like, you really want to crank some shit in your mouth? Watch this. I mean, all but 10 minutes ago, we're talking about like meth. So many of the foods, if you walk into a fucking Publix and just look in the center of that store, any grocery store.
Well, imagine like drinking that one drink and everyone's like, what do we call this? And everyone's like, I don't know, man. This is amazing. We have to call it something that's not out there at all. Sprite. What was that word before? Someone was like Sprite. That shit is delicious.
I think Sierra Mist just rebranded to Starry too.
Yeah. Because they were like, this sounds too old fashioned. Sierra Mist.
For Thanksgiving, when we went back, I'm not sure if I told you this or not, but humor me if I did. I went to pick up pizzas for our family, and long story short, I'm like, hey, trying to get the names, get my order. And I was like, I think there was a soda with it too. And she goes, sorry? And I was like, yeah, no, I think we also like, we got the pizza. I'm good on the pizza, but I think we had a couple 2 liters. She was like, yeah, one, sorry. I was like, I'm sorry.
It's me, not you.
Yeah, I was like, it's okay. But I think we had a soda. She goes, yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
At this point, I've given up. And there's like fucking 12 people behind me. And everyone's looking at me like I'm the asshole. So I'm starting to piece stuff together. Like, okay, it is me. I'm the problem now. So I just start looking around the pizza place.
Yeah, what am I missing?
I like open up the soda place or the.
You're like, Blue's Clues. Got it. What's the problem?
I literally just open up the door and I start pointing. He's like, yeah, sorry. I was like, Starry. Got it. Got it. Starry.
They're like, this guy's from fucking Austin.
I get it. It's tough to fucking talk if you don't have teeth.
Story.
Holding that T in with them teeth, boy.
Sir missed.
Sir missed. I wonder why they rebranded them. I don't know.
My guess is because it probably just sounded like an older brand, so they wanted to update
be a little more relevant with the kiddos.
Gotta compete with Sprite.
Yeah. You know
Sprite
what they say?
remix.
If you're not in with the kids, are you even doing anything?
Are you even doing anything? That's right. That's
You know?
right. 170 people on that name list are coming out, though. That's going to be a fun time.
What list?
The Jeffrey Epstein list that's coming out.
They're releasing the list?
170 names.
When are they releasing this?
January, they said, sometime.
Oh, that's going to be a holiday spectacle.
That's going to be a good day. You're going to see a lot of, like, little suicides popping up. They're going to call them mass murders.
What does that list mean? Like, those are confirmed traffickers?
Those are people that were going on his jet to the island.
It's got to be more than 170.
Of course it is. Of course it is. It's going to be a ton of people that we don't know who they are.
Yeah.
A bunch of random
people that fucked up, burned the wrong bridge.
These are all the people that did not pay the lobbyist in time.
Who is the Santos guy? That is it Santos or Soros?
Soros.
Soros.
That funds everything.
Yeah. Because when he got the boot, now he's going and throwing a bunch of other people under the bus.
Yeah.
Which
I like
to see that happen more often.
Oh, not Soros. You're talking about Santos, not Soros. You're talking about Santos. Sorry.
So
Santos
Santos
is the guy that got let go from as a politician. He's just throwing everybody under the bus now.
Yeah, because he's like, now he has to make money doing what are they called?
Speaking? I don't know. Books?
Oh no, it's the celebrity shout outs.
Work? Actually working?
It is actually working. God, that's gonna kill me.
I saw a great meme about the the two gay guys that made the videos, the gay porn in the senator's meeting room or whatever.
With the riot?
Some gay guy was like, that I saw was like, this holds up nothing to Monica Lewinsky. They think they did something here in the senator's office. They're like, that she was sucking dick next to the codes.
That's true. I think it does stand for something though, because Monica was just getting like seduced.
Sure.
You know? It was like, we have the transcript. We know what was said. So
he goes, everyone knows where the White House is. Where's the senator's room? Where is that? You tell me. And he literally sat there. He was like, exactly. You don't know where that is.
Well, I'm just saying, Bill's got game. You know what I mean? Bill
does have that game.
Even though he is definitely a pedo.
For sure.
No,
probably on that list. We're going to see
no way, shape, or form do you have a picture of you in a painted pink dress or whatever the fuck hanging over
if he's
a mantle.
Not on that list, that's nuts.
I mean, come on.
I like how the media just breezed that over about the painting that was hanging. They raided his New York apartment and it's just Bill in a dress hanging over the fireplace. Like, we're not going to talk about that one.
Yeah.
Right
I want to take a black light to that place. But so Bill was shooting a shot, you know, he scored. The gay men went in with an agenda. They probably went as far as like, you know, they could really go with that bit. And we're like, we're going to be some dirty boys. And
then they doubled down on it.
You know? So
probably tired of their jobs. They're probably like, screw this. We're going to get into something else. Make some money. Start an OnlyFans.
Oh, yeah, that was another thing. Santos used campaign funds for OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And then he claimed he didn't know what OnlyFans is. And it's like, bro, you have lip injections. You're very much...
You're top of the game.
You know what pop culture is. You literally voted to pass a bill against transgenders, and you were in a dress in Brazil. So, you know what OnlyFans is.
You know what he is.
We have the election this year, right? 2024?
That's right. It's going to be a fun
when
year.
When does that happen?
November?
Time.
November. Yep.
Hmm.
You'll start seeing gas prices go down a little bit. Always a good time.
Always a good time. Ironic, though, if they're saying that the economy is doing well right now, because when the election comes, the economy loves to tank.
Always, well, they want to control things and say, hey, look how good the economy is. We want to get your vote. Da 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 this, da 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 that. And they're saying they're all the media, for whatever reason, is saying the economy is doing great right now. Yet people can still barely afford anything. People are still looting stores like crazy. I'm like,
shrinkflation is a weird one for me. Like when you go into the grocery stores, you see like items are getting smaller in same package size. You're just getting less inside.
Reese's cups are definitely smaller for sure. There's no way those things are any bigger.
I don't remember the last time I had a commoner Reese cup.
Go get one. They're smaller.
No, I prefer the ones from Trader Joe's. Those are good. A lot more
Probably
value.
Smaller too.
They are. They're mini. They're
Little
really
mini
tiny.
ones. Yeah. They don't think we notice, but everyone notices.
Yeah.
Unless they're saying that because we're peaking how bad the economy has gotten, and it's like, oh, it's getting better. And it's just like we're cresting it, but no one believes them when they're like, oh, we should probably start pushing this to make it sound like the economy is better in order to make things sound better for elections.
Wild part for us is like as gnarly as like our housing situation has gotten. Our friends above the border in Canada have been getting rail fucked with their housing prices for a hot minute. Like, doesn't make any sense if you want to buy a house there. And they took their guns.
And they took all their stuff and said, now you can't do, what are you going to do about it now? Nothing. You can't do jack about it.
Nothing. Imagine trying to take all the guns from Americans. As much as you'd
produce more guns real quick. Every time
actively shit on the average American, it is the low IQ, and I love all Americans almost equally. But when you think about like the average American, like you're sitting in a classroom in public high school, you looked left, you looked right, and you had a couple friends in the class. But when you look left and right, that's the average American.
Damn it.
They're holding down the fort. When real shit starts hitting the fan, and if they can't simply compute it, then they're going, no, not doing it, not for it. I guess there's a wrinkle, propaganda, because we saw with COVID, mass brainwashing. So
isn't it crazy though? And when you're seeing all these problems happen in San Francisco and Seattle, you're seeing all these issues happening, all these people crying. It's like, you can just go get a gun. It's kind of solve the problem yourselves. If you've defunded your police enough that they're not even popping up anymore, you kind of have a legitimate right just to go protect yourself at this point.
Definitely.
If everyone out there got one and then start flashing that gun around, all regular citizens.
That is how America was. Like,
things are going to start getting a little better.
It was martial law for a long time.
Yeah. If the citizens just created their own martial law for a bit, you could probably fix some problems real quick.
We now live in a day and age where information is so readily accessible that if you share an opinion that is not liked enough, then it's got real world consequences,
So if you really let it.
And, I mean, your income is tied to a lot of that, right? So if you have an unpopular opinion that, even if you don't have a social media presence and you share an opinion that's not really like popular, a little edgy, and you're not a comedian, it's got real life consequences.
Then you just find but your income only matters if that company is not liking it. You just go find the company that doesn't care. Plenty of manufacturers, like if you're a manager of a company, of some tech company inside, right, that is in the city, and then they care because they're trying to create a good image, right? But then you go out into Lakeland, Florida, and there's an Amazon factory out there, and they need managers paying $120K a year. They'll be like, we don't give a shit. Come right on in. There's plenty of manufacturing jobs and other retail spaces that they do not care about that image.
That's true. And there's always OnlyFans. They really don't care.
Always OnlyFans. They're blowing up. Yeah, I mean, you get on there, you show one butthole, boom. $100,000.
I don't know. I don't know if my butthole is the type that's going to bring in money.
Not mine. It's like a $10 probably.
I feel like those welding videos, again, something the algorithm provides me. I can now accurately look at a weld and tell you what that is worth per hour. Dude, I've watched so many welding videos.
I saw one making fun of that the other day. It was someone putting mustard on a hot dog, going back and forth, and then the instructor came up and he was like, "I'll give you $30 an hour for that." That was pretty good.
I love how much the internet brings us together and simultaneously tears us apart. I mean,
Oh yeah.
It is the most divisive thing I think man has ever created. Aside from guns. I mean, guns are pretty fucking divisive.
Do you think the age of kids going to college is going to go up because a lot of kids think post high school they can do the whole social media thing? And then there's like a nice 5-year gap, and then they realize they have to start getting a job, and then they get into college?
I think college is going to fade. Just the same way. I think there's going to be a resurgence in technical institutes, because I was talking about this with my father-in-law. Like, it is really enticing at the idea of opening up a handyman or a service type of business, because like no one does that anymore. And so you either have folks that just would rather pay for it and not deal with the headache of learning the skill, or they have to because they, like they don't possess the resourcefulness to just watch a fucking YouTube video for most stuff and figure it out. So the prices of those things are going to continue to increase, and the demand never goes away. And for whatever reason, for the last couple of decades, it was never a cool thing to pursue a trade. It was only cool to go to college. And I think college is just, by far and large, a fucking ripoff. Like, I don't look at my college years, anything outside of, yeah, I learned some stuff that was like cool to learn. But as far as it translating to real world impact, it was negligible. I mean, all it really did is shackle me with debt.
I had a lot transfer over. Was it too expensive? For sure. Not for the value I paid into it, but I had a lot transfer over for sure. And I think that was just a combination of like going to school, the groups I was in, having to work through school. I think it was a combo. If I was just a kid going to school and everything's paid for by my parents, and I'm just in the group and I'm just trying to get straight A's, I probably wouldn't have learned jack shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, well, not to take away from, like, I put myself through school, right? So I had to learn how to be resourceful and stay focused. And there's a lot of life skills that come from that. But for the price tag is what I'm saying, the value of a student, of society continuing to push that makes sense. That's where I just don't see it really working out, And again, it's different. Like if you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, a very skilled profession where you need very niche, deep knowledge, I think it makes sense. But at the same time, AI is going to be fucking all of that up too.
Well, I wonder, because now, right, these schools are going to start they can give trucks and incentives now to athletes, right, to try to get them to come to the schools.
Or just flat out millions of dollars.
A lot of schools get a lot of money through grants and stuff because they have all these research projects going on, right? All right. Well, if you can do that with athletes, how long before like you need a scientist that's going to be a really smart kid that you're like, hey, we want you to come to this school so you can keep up our grants and research development? How long before they start doing that? And then all of a sudden, these kids are getting millions of dollars. It's no longer getting a scholarship. It's getting hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to a school. That'd be wild, getting paid to go to the school like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I see where you're going with that, but that mean that the NIL, I mean, it's football exclusive currently.
Sure, but how long before scientists start?
Is it football exclusive? Because the basketball player girl from LSU is paying a ton of money.
It's all NCAA.
Okay.
All
it is.
NCAA. Yeah.
Okay.
So all the different tiers are figuring out. That's why high schoolers are trying to promote themselves before they can go off to college, so they have a bigger value from a marketing standpoint. But how long then before like scientists are like, yeah, I could go to your school, but this school's offering me way, way, way more and paying me to be a part of it.
Well, I mean, that is what the current model is, though, is what I'm saying. So,
Is it?
yeah. So if they're just awarding it through scholarships, I only know that because a family member of mine, she scored almost perfect on the SAT, and NASA paid her to go to college to literally become a rocket scientist.
I was wondering where the outlier was in the family.
Oh, it's not by blood. Yeah. So
we adopted that one.
Yeah. I appreciate why you would think that comes from my lineage, but no.
Well, I didn't think it was. I was just trying to find where the knuckle was,
Yeah, not here for sure. Yeah, somewhere else on the family bush.
On the family bush.
We like to keep it in the family. See any of that knowledge running out the door, you say, "Hey, you better marry her."
Get on back in here, North Floridian panhandle.
Yeah, so I think 2024 has got a lot of good things in store.
We got some great guests coming up too.
Energy wise, 2024 just feels more exciting for me. I didn't feel the same kind of like tingly buzz going into 2023. I don't know why.
I don't know why. Yeah, everything did not tingle as much as it did in the prior years, but 2024, I'm getting that tingle.
It feels like 2023 was kind of a year where we, for whatever reason, let too much lint get into our belly button. And now we're choosing to address the problem.
Trying to force, there was a lot of forcing of finding things good, finding that good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of forcing that. Whereas like prior years, it was like, yeah, let's do that. Oh, that's easy come, easy go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you were in a dentist's office and your phone died. So now you're like trying to think of things to entertain yourself with. 2024 is when you happen to talk to the person next to you and they're fucking awesome. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to go get my teeth cleaned, but let's go get a beer. And they're like, fuck yeah, let's get a bag of beer.
That's where your dentist goes, I already got the K. Come on. We'll figure it out.
I got to take my dog to the vet soon. I'm going to just see if I'm just going to ask some leading questions.
They're like, oh, thank God I've got a pile of it. No one's been taking it.
Dude, we tell them, would you want it? And they're like, no. And I'm like,
they think we're trying to charge them. We're trying to give it away. We've got access. It's about to expire.
The hippies down the way, they're putting it in morphine bags and serving it up like hotcakes. I can't give it to anyone.
We're going to get some more professional hippies on the books this year. Thank you all that have been listening. Thank you all to the new professional hippies that joined us in 2023. It's going to be a good year. We're going to get some funny episodes, some knowledgeable ones. Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. All right, guys. Well, hey, that does it for us this morning, whenever you're listening. We'll see you next week. Love you guys.
Peace.
Wow.